Live on YouTube, the Chromaniacs postgame show is on the air. SDFC 4-1 victorious over Pumas in leg one of the CONCACAF Champions Cup opening round. It took a long time for the dam to burst, but when it broke, the goals started flowing. I'm Craig Elston, joined by my Chromaniacs. Tony Sanchez is live in the parking lot outside Snapdragon Stadium. Alex Pena in his home studio. Tony, what's going on, brother? People still filtering out after a great night at the Snap.
Yeah, absolutely. We have fans from both teams trying to make it back home after an incredible night here for SanDiego.FC. Mikey Varas is absolutely chuffed to bits to have his team do what they did in 18 minutes. 4 goals against a pretty good Pumas team, but there might have been a couple of reasons why. Alex, how are you, man?
Man, I'm great. It was great to see the team back live on my television again. And this was like the most typical SDFC match ever. You know, you want to play the kids, you got to play the kids, and the kids came through.
We're here to talk about it all with you live on YouTube on the Chromaniacs channel, courtesy of SanDiego.Futbol. A Tuesday night just after 11 o'clock. I can already see the SDFC fans pouring into the channel, pouring into the chat. Look forward to hear what everyone has to say about this one. First things first, SDFC's got an incredible chance to advance and face Toluca, the Liga MX champions. I mean, let's just do the basic math here. It's a 2-leg aggregate where away goals are the tiebreak. So right now, in order to advance, Pumas must beat SDFC 3-0 next Tuesday in Mexico City. Or if SDFC got 1, then it would 5-1. They'd have to win 5-1 to get past him because the tiebreak would be even out. So they would go to extra time, 4-1. Nonetheless, I'm just saying, this is crazy to win outright. It would take 4 goals. SDFC spent 67.8 minutes knocking on heaven's door. Tap, 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 tap. Nobody answering over that course. And then on a beautiful header by Manu Dua, who had an incredible 2-way game, first one goes in. Guys, this was a deserved result. There's no question about it.
Yeah, especially the way it started. It was a little rocky, especially that first half. Nothing was getting through for SanDiego FC, and then you saw probably the best goal ever at Snapdragon Stadium, a bicycle kick for Pumas, and it was a guy that I think we talked about, and I definitely talked about, Robert Morales. Yeah, he's a guy that was brought in over the winter, and it was just just insane to have that slow start, and it felt a little choppy, and then all of a sudden the flip, the switch just turned on, and they were off and running.
Yeah, and I mean, if this is what SanDiego FC looks rusty, then I can't wait to see what this team looks when they're ready to go. They are the first bicycle kick, as you mentioned. An incredible goal. There's nothing really to do there. Sure, you can look at the positioning that McVeigh had and his combination, as essentially McVeigh ended up covering his own teammate in that header. Still a great location, a great opportunity, and a great chance taken by Pumas to take that lead. But then you're going to look at that lineup and say, who's going to be the one to make this team move forward? Because honestly, at that point and mostly of the first half, SanDiego FC did come back and dominate possession. They did dominate. They come back to their traditional way of playing, maintaining possession, and Pumas was letting them. Pumas was laying in those traps and saying, okay, I'll invite you into my open space, but then 3 of us are going to go ahead and attack, be physical, and maybe not get a call or 2. And you heard it throughout the stadium. That frustration was starting to build, not just on the field, but off the pitch as well. And then essentially you have a lineup that supposedly was going to go ahead and be that starter. You have Ingvartsen, mega healthy Ingvartsen. Just because you're healthy doesn't mean you're good at soccer for now. But then after that, it was halftime and some adjustments. What I did like to see from San Diego FC is that they were consistent. From the first minute on, you saw a lot more crossing, a lot more attacking on the aerial side of things, whether it's from the right, from the left. You saw much more crossing that we're used to from San Diego FC. Usually they like to keep the ball down and just pass it around and try to walk it in essentially into the goal. But here they were really trying that. We saw that in preseason with Eisner, who gets to start on the right back side with those overlapping crosses on the ground. And eventually that's exactly what they did. And they were persistent. Pumas was the one that made the adjustments. And San Diego FC was able to take those opportunities and, like you said, knocking on heaven's door. And St. Peter said, "What's up?" And here's 4 goals.
I mean, it was absolutely wild being up there in the North End with the locals and thinking through the idea that we might be doing this show and having to explain to folks how a 2-1 win is almost like a draw, because if they go up 1-0, they've evened things up in the return leg. And then, boy, sure would be helpful if they got a third. Boom, a third. Boy, a fourth at this point would be almost decisive. Bam, there it is, 4th goal. But here's the thing, guys, that really struck me watching this. It wasn't just SDFC's possession game and unrequited attempts, because Tony said it well. They were very aggressive and elaborate in their attack. They were doing something I had never seen SDFC do last year, which was, I don't know if you saw it, but just being in the North End, Tony, was really helpful for this from a visual standpoint. They were sending a ton of passes just wide of the goal with the intention of having it resent into the middle, a 1-2-3. Like, we're going to send it here, and then this guy's going to one touch it back here to the back post, and then it's going to go. And while they didn't get a goal in the first half, it wasn't just that SDFC had possession. They had 72% possession. It wasn't just that they were running the ball around. They spent the whole time in the Pumas attacking defensive third, their attacking third. There's an example of one of those recross plays. Good one on that, Tony, on the live YouTube feed here. Just, I thought that it was kind of relentless, to be honest, what SDFC did. And that's why a lot of the folks I saw at halftime that were like, oh man, I was like, just keep going. What else can you do? One guy hit a chilena that's going to be on every top 10 goals list for the next month. And our team has tried 18 goals and they don't have one yet. Just keep trying. You're going to get one. They didn't just get one. They got 4.
Oh man. And they did. It was great to see. Yeah. It's a big notable difference from one game already to from last year. Yeah. Big crosses going across the penalty area. Those seem tactical because they kept going long and they kept trying them like all night. They even though it didn't work in the first half, they kept trying it in the second half, and that was good. And it seems like maybe that's the sort of play that we're going to see a little bit more in 2026 with the fullbacks, with Eisner, with Bombino, to try to do that. Because I know I was calling for it a lot more last year when you saw like the likes of Minnesota United, and it's like, why don't they just send crosses into the penalty area and like that? And it was always, that's not the way they play. And this year I kind of liked it, even though it didn't work. They went back to it.
Yeah, and really just that relentless nature. And they had Efrain Juarez, the coach for Pumas, also come out. He came out first, and really the way that he saw it is that they played 60 minutes of really good football in their mind. And from there, you do have an injury to Carrasquilla, which is probably their most important center midfielder. And they also held them back because it is a long season. They're barely in the beginning. They want to reserve it and be very cautious with that. And Pumas wasn't able to really bounce back and really have an identity once Carrasquilla came out, and the substitutes weren't necessarily catching up to the game speed. And that's what this essentially lends to that 18-minute onslaught. And again, something for San Diego FC is that we've seen the offense really develop, and I don't think we've ever seen it just strike so hot in such quick succession from so many different ways. And again, really speaks to the tactical mentality that they had going in, where Mikey Varas mentioned earlier in the week that the key was going to go ahead to break the low block from Pumas. They were going to go ahead and defend. They did this exact same thing against Tigres in the Liga MX, where they Pumas won 1-0, where they go up early and then they just go back and put 5 in the back and start defending. Pumas went ahead and did that, coming back, parking the bus, and then allowing San Diego FC to get bigger, more spaces, and get creative in between those. So again, kudos to San Diego FC, and kudos to the young kids, man. Like, again, Manodula getting his first goal of his career for San Diego FC. Luca Bombino also getting on the score sheet. Vasquez coming in and also being a factor and a game changer. It was mentioned in the press box. It was like the Baja Cup kids that played against Cholos, who also got it done in that game, coming in against the Mexican UNAM team and making it happen. And kudos once again to Mikey Varas for knowing that, hey, maybe it's a tactical thing. Maybe it's because we're trying to save legs. Marcus Ingvartsen, you're coming in. And what to say about Alex Mighton, too, who is another player that people have been asking and wanting more of. He came in and was a real spark onto that offense and helps build the team back up.
You know, you bring up Marcus Ingvartsen, and let's kind of dig into this a little bit, because Marcus, obviously one of the first players signed. He was signed, you know, at the same time as Jeppe Tverskov. He was always considered to be a huge part of the year one team, and it never happened. He was injured most of the season. He was ineffective early, and you wondered what was going on. And then he was a late reserve in the playoffs. He'd come in the 80th minute, or maybe the 75th minute, and didn't have a gigantic impact on the team's playoff fortunes. Then we hear, as we did at the start of season 2 here of Chromaniacs, he's not just healthy, he's mega healthy. This is going to be the turnaround year. Marcus Ingvartsen is going to be a fulcrum for the offense. He's going to be a huge part of it. I don't think he played poorly tonight. He did have a header chance that he missed. He was moving around. I had my eyes on him. He was moving around a lot. He was trying to get to the spaces he needed. Maybe it just didn't happen this time. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But that's the preamble to say the second he left and the young guys came in, they went from 0 goals to 4 goals 18 minutes later. And Mighton scored, and Vasquez scored and assisted. The kids came in and delivered in a way that made you go, Marcus, who? Like, maybe that wasn't the right call at the start of the game, given how good the young players looked when they came in.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the type of game that, whoever is like the social media person, he does the recruit video for this team, and he sends it out to all the kids, right? And he tells them, we're a big club that loves to play the kids. The kids are going to play in this on this team, because Dua had a goal, Vasquez had a goal, Bombino had a goal. But yeah, what you're saying about Ingvartsen is true. Like, he had 63 minutes. He had 7 touches in the opposition's box, and that's about it. That's all we can say about him. Not really a factor in this game. And it's just weird to me, because it's like, you were at SC Northland. You should know the system. You should know everything about this team for, your time spending, with them for a whole year. And we still aren't seeing the best out of you, in a pivotal game. It's Champions Cup. And, eventually we're going to be kind of tired of asking, when are we going to see the real Marcus Ingvartsen? Because I think a lot of fans are kind of tired of waiting and then asking that question.
Okay, devil's advocate. I've been,
Please,
pointing at Ingvartsen and pointing at everything that he's been doing from the moment that this game started. And I mentioned it, that they were proposing going in with those crosses. And I think when I was looking at the game, I'm like, okay, this makes sense because you have a bigger body in that middle with Marcus Ingvartsen, who's knows how to go ahead and build and muscle off defenders. Historically, Mexican teams, whether it's a club team, whether it's a national team, with aerial duels, just because of the size differential and set pieces, they're not the best. And so maybe, and again, just giving that same benefit of the doubt, for this game, Marcus Ingvartsen's job was to tire out that defense. And once he came out, then you have a different look on offense because you don't have to have this big body, but they've already been depleted. And then you can have a bigger body in Mano Dua come in and just be an adult grown man in that moment. And then from then you hit cross and cross and cross open spaces and you create chaos inside the box, all because that defense is tired because of the contributions off the ball of Marcus Ingvartsen. He's the striker though, and he is the one that's supposed to be up there as a center forward. And how long is that going to go ahead and last? I'm not sure. We heard Tomas Angel last year be a great defender, but he wasn't scoring. So we'll see if Marcus Ingvartsen is able to get on there. But maybe a little bit of a devil's advocate on that one. If not, that's fine. You can very much well disagree. But then you also better be pointing at Pellegrino, who didn't score also, but was important in a lot of these chances and moments as well.
Yeah, I thought Pellegrino, he had one tremendous chance. And credit to Puma's keeper for cutting down the angle and not giving him a straight shot at the inside of the back post. But I thought Amal generally was pretty good tonight. I didn't think Ingvartsen was bad. But Dreyer was predictably harassed. He had very little space on the pitch to operate. The defense was shaded his direction, and that's the right thing to do. Nonetheless, once the kids came in and things opened up a little and you got one, you got two, I loved how this club has this identity that we're not going to sit back. And we can talk about it more as the show progresses, because around the 50, 60-minute mark, I was thinking to myself, well, Pumas is a team that's willing to win 1-0, where we're kind of not. We're a team that tries to attack no matter what. But I really appreciated how at 2-1, San Diego FC did not go, oh, we've got the lead. We were 0-1, now we're 2-1, 6 guys in the back. No, they went for 3, 4, and that's how you win a CONCACAF Champions Cup lead, 2-leg series, is you get 4 goals in your home match. My goodness, that's how to do it. And they did it.
Yeah, because that aggregate score, it matters, right? You gotta keep scoring. It's gonna be a tougher leg on the other side, on the flip side, going to Mexico, and you're gonna be at altitude. It's going to be a different atmosphere. It feels like those goals are going to matter because what happens if they're 2-0 and now you're kind of you got to defend to prevent that third goal. If you don't want to get in that position where it's like, oh man, 2 goals away, 3 goals away at Pumas really matter. And it was great to see that they stuck to the attack, and that's something that's something they've always been doing, right? They don't really try to bring on another defender, go 5, in the back. It's just not their identity. They keep going, and I think that's like my favorite part about this club. They just keep attacking, try to keep scoring.
And now, more good news for San Diego FC and San Diego FC fans. If this was San Diego FC at home, we know what happened last year. We know how good they can be away. And is there a different gear already to this right now? And we'll play the post-match sound here from Mikey Varas, who came out actually, and I thought, oh no, something happened. Like I got scared for a second because he was presented as, all right, Mikey Varas is going to go ahead and speak, and he has a message for everybody. I was like, oh no, what happened with the Pumas fans?
A message?
Oh no, what happened with everything? Like, what happened, guys? Like, is everything all right? but he just comes out and essentially gives a reverse excuse, whereas you usually give excuses and context when you lose a match. But he did context and excuses and why they went past him and destroyed him just as the match went. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, good, nothing happened. But yeah, it was very interesting to see that as well.
Well, let's not bury the lead. Let's listen to Mikey Varas and hear what the distant third place finisher for Coach of the Year had to say after this 4-1 win.
Recording in head coach Mikey Varas. Estamos con el director técnico Mikey Varas. Empezamos con un mensaje de Mikey. We'll start with the message from Mikey.
Yeah, first and foremost, I think the most important thing is just to take a second and recognize the moment that we just lived right now, because these boys had 3.5 weeks of training. Their break got cut by a week. They had to come back a week earlier. And they play against a team who's 4 games into their season. And not one excuse dripped from a single pore of them. And I think you're not always rewarded in life for having the right mentality, but when you are rewarded, how sweet is it? And then the other thing is our grounds crew here at Snapdragon. You know, we just had a monster truck here last week, and they had to turn the field around, and that's not easy either. And same mentality, no excuse, just get on with it. And they put a really beautiful pitch out there for us.
Man, I love that. Absolutely. First off, to start at the end, yes. Ask the Wave 2 years ago when Snapdragon's field crew was not getting the job done, how important and impactful it was. To get from monster truck to this is gigantic. But, I mean, my goodness, Mikey is right. And also, like, literary, this guy's got a gift to say that excuses didn't drip from any pore.
Like, beautiful.
Yeah.
The Bard of
Wow.
Snapdragon.
Right? I mean, I'm telling you, Mikey, I never should have doubted you for anything you said over the course of time. You sent the highest paid player into the stratosphere, and the club scored 4 goals in 18 minutes, and the kids got the job done. Let's just hear what you got to say for next week, brother. Like, what a turnaround for this club. First match of the year. And honestly, at the 65th minute, I was thinking about what we were going to talk about on this show. And it was like, hey, we've got a pretty good team. Things look okay. I was literally going to be like, let's stay the course, everybody. We lost 1-0, but Pumas got a golazo. They packed in. They put the 5th defender in. We got unlucky. You know, it's just not our day, but we've still got a chance to win this thing. And instead, we're up 3. We're up 3 going to Mexico City, where it's going to be high altitude. It's going to be high intensity. It's going to be a difficult game. You know what's good to have when you got all those things going against you? A 3-goal lead. Like, that's a pretty good thing to have. So I'm blown away by this performance. I'm gonna be gaga for Mikey again here, like, really quick after a game like this.
Yeah, he has you falling in love with him again, all over again. Oh, man.
You want some more Mikey, guys?
Go for it.
Yeah, you got more Mikey? Give me more Mikey.
You get rewarded in life for that, but when you do, it feels very good.
Thank you for your time, Mikey. Earlier in the week, you mentioned how the key was to make sure that the team was able to counterattack the low block that Pumas was going to present. You were consistent with attacking through the wings and that same attacking vision throughout the game. What was the message for in halftime to make sure that the team maintained that consistency, even though Pumas went back with 5 in the back?
Yeah, I think we were having a little bit of trouble accessing the half spaces in behind because they did a really good job of defending, and we weren't quite making enough runs there. So a little adjustment that we made was we prioritized a little bit the left side overload, where we felt we were having a better success, and then that was able to bring Anders a little bit lower on the opposite side to see if we could find these quick switches to him. The key was we need to get the ball onto Anders' feet more in dangerous areas so that he can make things happen for us.
At one point, SDFC, Alex, I literally turned to our mutual friend, procrastinating Puma, from the locals. I said, "Is this just the game now? We just get to take corners until the game's over?" It felt like it was like 70 straight corners for San Diego FC.
Yeah, it was the tally ended up being 10-0 for corner kicks for San Diego FC, and it looked like, from the start of it, once they started doing it, I was like, okay, I think eventually if they keep doing it enough, they're gonna they're gonna score, and it was good solid game plan because they had the possession, they kept moving the ball forward, and it's always good to have keep getting the ball inside the penalty area. So that was all good. Pumas just kept letting it happen. That was on them, and I think kudos to Alex Martin on the first goal, because it was his ball that forced the corner, and they knocked it down, and it's a great effort, and I can't believe we've turned into almost like a set piece type of team right now. As of one game, we're a set piece type of team right now.
And look at a performance too by Eisner on the right back. He had a great game, fighting for balls on the line, having some what was he saying? Some cheeky footwork and some cheeky passing, and just looked cool, calm, but composed in the back, and looked really solid. Something that San Diego FC definitely needs. You have look up Amina on the left side doing everything and going up and taking, I'll say it, ballsy shots. And I was like, okay, like this is interesting. Okay, good. Like, let's go ahead and do this. But I do think that Eisner had a great game as well, just breaking into the starting 11 and playing with such poise. And somebody mentioned it earlier, he was playing against MLS Next Pro teams last season. And even then before, just kind of coming out of the college game, and just that sort of game speed. So it's very impressive what he was able to do. Also, just looking at where was Lewis Morgan? They're easing him in, so you weren't going to see him here. I do believe Oni Valakari did pick up a bit of a hamstring injury, so he has been training on the side for a couple of weeks now as well, just kind of getting him acclimated. But, I mean, Valakari, Morgan, Lozano, didn't need him.
Who?
What?
Hey, Tony, first off, yellow card to you. Second, 4-1 win. I just want to dial up Encanto. We don't talk about Chucky. No. We don't talk about Chucky. Not tonight. Hey, and also big shout out that it's almost midnight on the West Coast, and we've got close to 100 people watching Chromaniacs. Loved being out in the purple lot, walking in. A lot of people talking about Chromaniacs, saying, hey, it's love the show. Heard from like left, right, and center being inside Snapdragon Stadium today. So love that we get to be a part of this community in a small way to help grow the excitement after a game like this. But you talked about it. No Lewis Morgan, no Valakari. Soma is starting. Maiton's coming in. Sargent comes in late. This felt like the script for Right to Dream, for what the first game could be, to calm everyone's concerns and say, don't worry, the kids are all right.
Yeah, it was a little surprising to see Soma starting, and now that we know a little bit more about Valakari, it's like, okay, that makes sense, because he is the only other option really in that midfield to start. So it's good to see Soma start. It did seem like he was a little out of place, not so confident making those runs in the midfield. A little bit of indecision, but I think just more playing time, and he can get a little bit better at it. But yeah, Eisner, man, if you're a San Jose Earthquakes fan and you see San Diego FC getting your guy, that's just not looking good, because it's Oscar Verhoeven, Amal Pellegrino, and it could be Wilson Eisner now. That San Diego FC just brings them in and turns them into something. So that's gonna be really exciting to see. And hey, David Vasquez on the other end of Eisner's pass, which
Yes.
Eisner like put it on a dime, and it was a perfect pass right to Vasquez, and he was ready for it. Hey, I saw him not only that goal, but the next goal after that too. He bodies. I think it was Rivas. He just shoved him out of the way, and he put himself in a perfect position to get a good goal kick. And then I think that was when Mighton went in or to clean it up, or Bombino. But I saw him like absolutely just like shove the guy, and he looks a little bit more grown, and that's really good to see.
Yeah, and everything that SDFC could have wished this game would have been is, yeah, I think they were, rewarded with the lead as well, right? Like, you started by saying these guys had every excuse in the book to put, and I think anybody had a mind at all whatsoever. And too, we heard that, I gave attendance, but heard so that, so good.
Poor Tony. An ambulance went behind you as you were talking, and somebody in that ambulance was playing Fortnite, and it just completely it just dicked your signal for like 30
To-
seconds. And
To answer the question here by Jeremy, I'm in the green lot, yes, because CONCACAF rules state that no one is allowed to do any sort of live hit, even on the concourse after the match. Very strange CONCACAF rules throughout
Yeah.
the night and throughout the day, but hey, they're the ones that put on the show, so that's why we're here on my phone hotspot in the green lot, making it happen.
Something interesting happened before the game, and I'm just going to throw this out there because it's almost midnight. There was a plan in the North End when the national anthems were to be played for the North End to turn around and turn their backs to the United States national anthem. And a member of one of the supporter groups and that person's father got abducted by ICE in the morning. There's a GoFundMe that's been almost completely funded, but needs even more money. That hopefully we can maybe throw the link into the comments. I think all of us have thrown some money that way today. But instead, CONCACAF came out and really CONCACAF. They had the CONCACAF logo at midfield. They shook it. They played the CONCACAF theme, and then they were like, "Cool, let's play the game." And I don't know. I'm just throwing chum in the water here. I don't know if somebody from ops got wind of what was going to happen and said scotch the anthems, or if there was never a plan to play the anthems and they were only going to play the CONCACAF anthem because it's a CONCACAF event. Tony, I don't know if there was any like buzz in the press box about that, because I kind of thought like either CONCACAF got lucky on that or SDFC intervened to prevent something other than the match being news tonight.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a CONCACAF thing, and they wouldn't be able to override things. Just again, procedural things that happen in the back end here through media availability, through the procedures. Right now, Chiva is still in the mix zone because that's available here through CONCACAF. So different things like that are just, I think, how CONCACAF runs things. I don't think SanDiego FC would have the authority to do that, because I mean they're getting bullied and moved around by CONCACAF in their own home. So, I did also go to the purple lot and took a picture earlier from there. Some of the supporters holding just a sign for abolish ICE. I'm gonna see if I can put up the just a picture here. Just cool little background, and just it's good to see the community coming together for something that is way above soccer and football. I know producer helped us here, put us with a link to the GoFundMe. But essentially, yeah, I mean, today would have been the day perfect to go ahead and do that. Just a dual national game, and I doubt I doubt what's going to happen at Ciudad Universitaria, but now you have a home game here coming up to maybe that's something that can still be moved, or between here and then everything gets cleared up in the country. And
Oh yeah, for sure. By February 21st, everything's going to be good in the country. There's no problem. Yeah, so that'll be chill by the time we get to the MLS opener. No, I don't know. I just wanted to put that out there because that was a real thing. I mean, in the supporters section, there was a real discussion. Is it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And then I heard the CONCACAF theme play. And I've worked some CONCACAF events at PA at Snapdragon over the last couple of years. I'm like, oh, my man Furio is doing his thing up there in the booth. Like he's figured it out. And we're going to avoid this controversy altogether because we're going to play the anodyne CONCACAF theme, which is just random notes, basically. But yeah, this is a real thing that's happening in our supporters group community. A family separated, and an opportunity to try and help them get legal representation to try and get their family back together. And we're all together in this thing. We're all together as Americans in this thing. I know that there's a tough situation bringing politics into sports and whatnot. But I think we're all together in this thing. I really do. I think we're all united in this. And to see it come to our SG, I'm not surprised, but I'm really proud of the way everyone's rallying.
Yeah, it's a really great thing because we're all we're all from somewhere, and it's not here. It's not. I got parents that are my mom's from Mexico. She is a citizen, but I'm always worried for her. So it's a thing that hits home whenever I see these things happen because you never know what can happen to you. So we're all a family. We're all united, and hopefully we can help these individuals out and bring them back home.
So to bring it back a little bit and tie it with SDFC and soccer, right? Last year was asked from the club if they were going to go ahead and help federal officials and in those operations. The club did say that they weren't, and I think moving this year forward as well, that's still the mentality of the club and their stance. Hopefully nothing else does happen, but if it does need to be addressed with the fans, because with the team and the club and Mikey Varas himself, because he himself has been outspoken. If the club is willing to say, hey, this is a family, we're all in this together, and we can use marketing and all that, let's go ahead and use it in a positive way too, if it needs to have some light shed on there as well.
What did Alex Mighton have on his shirt that led to a yellow? Did you see that, Tony?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. And the camera angle that I had just at that point and it was at the far side, I didn't get to see what was on there. I'll look through some of our fantastic photographer, Ryan, who was here to see if he has some images of that. But I think the yellow card just comes automatically from taking the shirt off. Just that's the automatic yellow, not necessarily the message on there. But I'm going to go ahead and track that down for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I couldn't see it on television either. He kind of moved away from the main camera, and it was kind of like showing the crowd, so his backside was towards the camera, and you can see it. But I was interested. I wanted to see what the message was.
I enjoyed his appeal from the north end. I enjoyed his appeal to the official because he's like, I didn't take my shirt off. He's like, I only brought it to here. I only brought it to here. I didn't take it off. But that's the way it went. And listen, I totally understand everyone. You can have different opinions on whether it would have been a good idea to. Oh, thank you, Eric. In the chat says it was a Bible verse. Okay. Great. Like I said, everyone can have a different opinion on what the right thing is to do to meet the moment or to not meet the moment. I'm literally just telling you what I knew was a dynamic for tonight, and then it didn't happen. because they didn't play the national anthem. They played the CONCACAF anthem. So whether that was clever on their part or whether it was completely planned and routine and it just diffused a situation that could have been political, I say, Libby. By the way, human rights are not political. Tax rates are political. Zoning is political. Height limits for city buildings, that's politics. Parking is politics.
That's a hot topic right now.
Yeah. Human rights are not politics. That's apolitical. And I had a wonderful golf round with a 78-year-old former, like, 3-decade Navy high-ranking person who was like, this isn't politics. I'm like, yes, it's not politics. Anyways, let's get back to it. Okay, there it is.
Thank you,
I'd say you
Ryan.
definitely I think you definitely get the yellow for that, though. I mean, it's over your neck. Oh, amazing. Guys, this club. Oh, here's something I haven't mentioned yet that I wanted to make sure I got out in the show. Mano Dua at one point had a situation where he was kind of the last guy back on a Pumas player where it was going to be 1v1 going in, and he just crushed the fool. He was just like, no, crush. Later in the second half, when it was 3-1, Pumas is pushing because, hey, if they get a second away goal, even if you win 4-2, if they get a second away goal, that's gigantic. That's almost everything. It would be what we were just like, and McVay comes back and just crushes a fool. Just absolutely smashes a fool. I thought those defensive plays were heroic and delightful and indicative of a team that is connected. The SDFC Chromaniacs looked extremely connected in tonight's second half.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad even losing Patty McNair, I thought he had an edge and brought that physicality. It still seems like there's still some physicality with McVay and Mano Dua, which is great because like Dua is a huge person. He's 6'4". He should use all of it. And I mean, McVay's not even he's not a small guy either. So they should keep using it. That gives them an edge. And I like it when the center backs are a lot more physical because they got to be, they're usually, and especially in this system, they're the last line of defense. So they have to be the guys that stops any type of run that's going to be coming their way. That means they're preventing a goal. And man, I do like the physicality coming from those two. And it seems like, I included David Vasquez in this. I think it's showing up a lot that this might be a little bit more of a physical team heading into this season,
which is good, right? The kids are growing up and they're meeting the expectation. There were moments where they were going to be baited by Pumas, where the players were into the dark arts, and that's something that just is known against with Mexican teams, and they are stronger, and sometimes there's calls that don't go your favor. And there were moments in the first half where they could have been baited right directly into the moments where a younger, unexperienced player will just kind of lose their head, but that didn't happen for SanDiego FC in this case.
It's crazy. And Philippe, who I got the great chance to meet in the Purple Lot today, we've seen him through our feeds for weeks and months. What a great SDFC fan. But Mano Dua and Luca Bombino, I feel like, are the two guys that were found money for this club. I shouldn't even say found money. They scouted, prepared, acquired the players, knew what they thought they had, and they've seen them develop. But if you truth serumed Tyler Heaps and Mikey Varas, they might say, we didn't know we'd get this much. from these two kids. And the fact that Europe might be knocking on the back on the door for our center back and our winger back, that's pretty amazing. I saw Philippe say Dua for player of the match. Look, he does look like the best player on the field at many times, and particularly when he's put to the test, because when he is, he just hulks up and is okay, you're done.
He does. And then I love that about him. He just like kind of feeds off the crowd's energy, and it just like it gets him so excited. I love that about Manu Dua. And then, man, Bombino, I think, if you talk to Tyler Heaps and you're looking at the situation we have now with the fullbacks, he would probably tell you, you don't pay your fullbacks. You don't really spend a lot of money on the fullbacks. I think the money really goes to the top, to the front three, and then the fullbacks are usually that's the squad that gets the least amount of money, right? And they found a gem at a Luca Bombino, and I don't think those rumors will ever go away of like, is he going to go over to Europe, especially West Brom. The interesting about West Brom, they did hire Eric Ramsey from Minnesota United, who got to see a lot of Luca Bombino. So that connection, especially if Eric Ramsey does very well with West Brom, he's gonna try to entice Luca Bombino away. Next season, the season after that, just do whatever they can. So, and and I also want to ask Tony about this, because I don't think I ever saw this with Luca Bombino. I don't think I ever see him get inverted the way he did in the second half. He was almost like another central midfielder, and it looked
Great point.
different look. He was always out wide last year, and now especially for the goal he scored, he was right there right there in the middle.
Yeah, and really that moment is just like Dua, right? As soon as he pushes up and starts commanding that halfway point and acting more like a center defensive mid, that's when that gives the freedom for Bombino to travel a little bit more inside, because Dua also has the speed to track back if he needs to, just like McVeigh as well can go ahead and track back. And now with Eisner, that also adds that added dynamic where you're not over relying on the left wing, right? You're not necessarily going directly from left all the way to Dreyer on the right and then going. You can be more dynamic and have different looks and be compact in the middle, but then whenever at any moment you can open it up and then cross it. And that's exactly what SanDiego.FC was doing throughout the match.
Just a remarkable performance. And now you've got a week. You've got Pumas at home. You've got altitude to deal with, but you've got 3 goals to play with. You've got the opportunity to lose 2-0 in advance. That's crazy. But here's the thing I know, guys, and I don't know if this works for or against SanDiego.FC. This club is a shark. They only go forward. They do not go back. So I do not expect SanDiego.FC to come out in a defensive mindset for this second leg. I expect them to keep the ball on their foot and keep moving forward. And Alex, I think they're going to try and score 2 or 3 more goals down there in Mexico City. And I think 90-ish +% of clubs would take a completely different tactic and say, we're going to just throw 11 people in the box and defend. We've got a 3-goal lead. We've got 90 minutes. We're going to defend it all the way. I don't think SDFC is going to do that. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't think so. I think they're going to play on the front foot like they've done throughout their history.
Yeah. I don't expect anything else. SanDiego.FC is going to play their style. It's going to be interesting with Pumas. They have a match on Saturday against Atlas, and then they play Tuesday. It's going to be a quick turnaround for their match. So I kind of want to see what they're gonna try to do with Atlas and see how many of their real starters are gonna play in that. That gives us all indication of what's gonna happen on Tuesday. If they're playing their primetime starters on Saturday, that should pretty much mean that they're gonna give this one away and just be like, "Hey, San Diego, you want to be in this tournament? You guys can have it." Because it 3-0, we gotta beat you guys 3-0. That's gonna be a tough task. They did score 4-0 against Santos Laguna. I don't know if I don't know if they can do that again and try to do that with against us and San Diego FC. So I think that I could pretty much say like San Diego FC has this. Just play your style, play your game. Everything will be fine. And we'll see what Pumas does on Saturday night, and if they're gonna be forcing the issue.
Also, sorry to just jump in here, just moving from side to side, trying to get out of the way for a couple things, but it's also CONCACAF. CONCACAF is also wild, right? You see these wild storylines, you see these moments through Liga MX, and unfortunately, 4 games isn't that much.
Well,
4 goals.
I'll just say in conclusion that I have not bought a ticket to Mexico City from Tijuana yet. But if somebody, okay. Hey, Brian Olivo in our chat saying I was able to be released because I have DACA, but they're still trying to mess with me. My dad, unfortunately, is still in. Well, please continue to contribute to get the Olivo family reunited and to take care of this, because I just know as an SG, as Frontera SD, we're going to back every single one of us. Every single person in that end was willing to walk out of there tonight if the situation determined that. But it didn't. IZK24 in the chat says, did you guys mention the fact that Aguirre was at the game? I think Tom Penn was holding up a jersey with Javier Aguirre, was he not?
Yes, he was, and yeah, that was interesting. Tom Penn was there to greet Javier Aguirre, and it wasn't anybody else.
Yeah. Talking about, hey, what was Javier Aguirre doing here in the press box? Even the Mexican reporter were like, we had no idea. And I think it might have been just a procedural thing because he had some things lined up in Tijuana, and just happened to be in town. So he just kind of stopped by. Clearly, he's not here for Lozano. Then, as much as people may want, he's not here for Cisniega at all. And on the other side of Pumas, there really isn't anybody who you circle to potentially have maybe 1 or 2 players. But it was I think happenstance, and he just came to enjoy a San Diego FC game.
Last thing for me, and we can wrap up the show. It's midnight, and I know you probably want to get out of the ever-cooling green lot at Snapdragon Stadium, Tony. I did see a couple of little bits of chatter, not a lot of time for me hustling back from the game to do this post-game show, but I saw a couple of things online while I was on the trolley and whatnot of folks saying, Cisniega, we got to tighten things up in the back. And as the Chromaniacs #1 Pablo Cisniega backer, I don't want to say the world's #1, but at least of us 3, the #1 Cisniega backer, he got a little squirrely at the end, and he could have been shown a red late in the second half for the second straight home match. He didn't, thank goodness. All I'm saying is I hear you. I think Pablo stops the shots pretty well. There was nothing anyone in the world could have done for the Chilena that was scored that was going to go in 1,000 out of 1,000 times. But, it'd be great if Pablo didn't seemingly go on safari and then almost turn over the ball. Tony, I don't think that Anua Abasi would be happy with that play from Cisniega.
I think up the benefit of the doubt only because it did look a little accidental. Like, yeah, he meant to completely get in the way with that and with his body, and happened to be his hand. So I would have believed the red card there, and then for sure ushered in the Duran Ferree era in San
Right?
Diego FC.
I think we're getting closer to that era, and then unexpectedly, I think we are, because that was close for him getting a red and then not seeing him next week. Oh, that would have been incredible. That would have been
With everything else, that would have been the first thing we talked about. Was like, oh,
yeah.
we got to start Ferree in Mexico City. What are we gonna do?
With no, well, CJ could maybe potentially be back there, but yeah, no backup maybe.
But he didn't. So it's all okay
Yeah.
for now. All right, let's bring a close, guys. Closing thoughts on this incredible evening that seemed like it was going to be one of frustration and fortitude, and keep the faith. Things are going to be all right, and in the end, it winds up 4-1, and we're looking great to get to Toluca in CONCACAF Champions Cup.
Yeah, the kids are all right. I had my doubts in the beginning. I wasn't unsure. It looked very thin. If someone had to come out at the the starting top three, then I wasn't. I was really unsure what was going to happen. But yeah, sure enough, Ingvartsen comes out, Vasquez comes in, they score a goal. Mine comes in, they score a goal. It's unbelievable that the system can produce that the unexpected goals out of these kids. So I'm glad that it keeps happening. It still surprises me. And on to Mexico City.
SanDiego FC, as we say in Spanish, callando hocicos, essentially just shutting mouths up. And that includes some of us and around MLS circles or around just the club. And, historically, these things aren't supposed to happen in sports. These things don't happen. And just the belief and the way that this team is really coming together is honestly very impressive to see firsthand. And hopefully this is the beginning of another special season for SanDiego FC. And look, I mean, taking it 4-1 to Keylor Navas, a 3-time Champions League winner, is not easy.
No doubt about it. With that, let's bring a close to this post-game show. This will be our show for the week, seeing as we're doing it essentially Wednesday morning. At this point, there won't be anything new for the club. If there's something dramatically new for the club between now and Thursday, we'll do a show on Thursday. Otherwise, we'll be back with you next Tuesday for post-game coverage of the second leg, and to see if SanDiego FC has indeed advanced out of Mexico City. And if someone wants to try and convince me to go on a Mexico trip, you've probably got about 48 hours to try and get me on a flight, or tell me about an Airbnb or something to get me down there. Let's figure it out. Thank you to everyone for being here. Thanks to the incredible SDFC fan base that is embracing our show and what little we can do to help connect the community. Tony, tell everyone what's going on at SanDiego.Futbol.
Yeah, that's the name of the game, SanDiego.Futbol, here with everything coverage in between. There should be media availability before this next upcoming game. We'll have 2 balls and a mic on Monday, trying to make it to the World Cup. Thank you for everybody who's donated here to our GoFundUs, and thank you for everybody who stopped by and said hi today. And it was a quick turnaround for an off season, and I can't wait to be back in the Toyota Terrace and be let inside after CONCACAF is gone and MLS for sure.
And Alex?
Yeah, chromaticfc.com. You can catch all my writing. Probably have a post up for this week, for this match, and plus this episode. I have a Chromaniacs button where you can catch all the latest episodes. So go up and subscribe. And thank you to all the new subscribers that keep signing up.
Tony and I will be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. with a live episode of Soccer's Overtime. SanDiego had their own dramatic victory. Very different kind of victory on Sunday. We'll talk about that all with special guest Mitchell Cardenas tomorrow. That'll be live at 6 p.m. Pacific right here on SanDiego.Futbol. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at the Chromaniacs. Our man, Terrible SDFC Memes, always doing a great job cutting up the show. I'm sure he'll have some clips from this as well. And for everybody watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that thumbs up, hit the like button, hit subscribe to know that we'll, every time we go live, that you'll be notified to come and join us. And with that, we're done with tonight's post-game show. For Tony Sanchez and Alex Pena, I'm Craig Elston. Thanks so much for being here till the very end. And vamos, SDFC.